All right, welcome everyone to this month's Open Metadata Community Meetup. It's great to have you here. It's crazy that it's still the new year, right, at our first meetup of the year. Really excited to get into all that we have on offer today. Um, it's been great to speak with you all in the Open Metadata community about how you're using Open Metadata. That's been a New Year's resolution of mine to uh, get out and hear from you all. So please, feel free to discuss how you're using open metadata, what you'd like to see. It's been going great, that New Year's resolution, because my other New Year's resolution was like a New Year's diet that is not going as well. So really excited to get in here and share our agenda for you all today. Today, we have an update, as always, for our open metadata community. We're going to be showing some stats and how the community has been growing in the new year. We have Sapir Hirshberg of Wix, who will be demonstrating how Wix has been using open metadata for a variety of years now. So it's really exciting to see their evolution of their usage of open metadata, and especially how they're using it now. So really interesting to get into that. And then we have a number of new features that we'll be discussing that are coming to open metadata before reviewing some of the things that we built last year. And as always, there's going to be some time for some Q&A, so please feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you may have. So, to start the new year, open metadata has been healthy as ever in a number of areas that we like to track. So really appreciate all your support as we continue to grow the open metadata community. We had a number of new contributors to the open metadata project. It's been great to see people come in and have their first code contributions accepted into open metadata, and always they're looking for new contributors. We've had great growth in the number of GitHub stars on our project as well. So GitHub has been a really great place that's showing momentum and growth for us, both in new contributors and in stars there. So some of the best numbers that we've seen in both of those metrics for since the last meetup. And then our Slack continues to grow. You can see we're closing in on 12,000 Slack community members. That's a great place if you're new to open metadata to learn how others are using the tool to get some support as you are standing up your open metadata instance as well. So you can see we're right back into it and getting those new contributions in and getting new pull requests into open metadata. Some of the most merged PRs that we've had week over week as we've started the new year here. Can see up well over 100 PRs were merged into open metadata last week. And almost 400 over the past 4 months. That's including, the new year. And then our Slack continues to be a great place to be able to get support. So after that holiday dip, it's back in and great to be able to interact with you all and make sure that your open metadata environment is as useful as possible. Here you can see some more metrics on our open metadata Slack. If you're not a member of the open metadata Slack, please feel free to reach out and we would love to have you there. We've had a number of different community contributors. So wanted to always give thanks to our community contributors that you can see on the screen here, building out this new functionality into open metadata. Solving a number of key development areas. It's been great to see this momentum continue. I had to add 2 columns into this slide for the first time in a while, so really a lot of support that we're getting from the community this month, and that's very appreciated. When we have a QR code here, as you saw, those GitHub stats are momentum is growing there and as healthy as ever. And if you want to join in on the support of that open metadata project, you can find our GitHub repo through this code, be able to both add a new PR or a new issue if there's something that you would like to see changed in open metadata, or star the project and keep up to date as we continue to get into all of the developments that are happening in open metadata. So with that, I'm really happy to turn it over to Sapir, who's going to be talking about how they've been leveraging open metadata at Wix.
Thank you, Nick. Let me share. So, hi guys, great to meet you all. I'm Sapir from Wix, and today I want to show you how we at Wix utilized open metadata to be perfectly ready for the AI revolution that started in the last few months. So a bit about me, I'm a data product manager at Wix. Actually, everywhere I work, I focused on data, if I wanted or not, somehow. If you wonder who are the people who refresh COVID dashboards every day to see the numbers, it's me. I really like data. And at Wix, which is a leading website builder, probably you all know it, we really focus now on the AI area. And actually, from the very start, Wix decided that every product decision or business decision will be done by a data-driven company fully. So I'm on the data organization at Wix. We have a lot of business analysts and data engineers and data scientists that get the data ready for decisions on a daily basis. Let's look about the journey that we started with open metadata. Back in 2022, we were looking for a data catalog. We have a lot of our data stack is big. We want people to documented their assets, and it was starting to be hard. We have some internal products that weren't that good, and we were in the search. And you can see here Yossi that is initiate the project, and he just tried to ingest lineage, and we saw it and it was amazing. It was very easy for us to work ourselves with open metadata, and we just started to write this tool. And now in 2026, it's full production mode. The open metadata, there is so many tools and AI agents that rely on it that we can't do upgrades during daytime. There are always people that work and need access to the system, if by MCPs or by UI. So it's very important system to us. Looking on our data stack, just to understand where we're at. We have a lot of data assets, and on a daily basis, we ingest 25K tables and pipelines and dashboards. It's really all in thousands. And we started doing it daily in the morning. If the pipeline is deleted or renew, okay, we will ingest it. And then we move for the tables to real time. We just listen to Kafka topics if the schema has changed and push it. And why it needs to be real time? Because users need this system for everything. And if there is a new column and a lot of other tools rely on it, we need this data in real time. User wants to update the description right now after we added this column. It doesn't want to wait till tomorrow. Also, after we ingest the asset themselves, you do enrichments. So you know our lineage connections, it's huge, right? For all this data asset. I said it's real time. It's kind of near real time just because the calculation of all these connections takes 2 hours. So every 2 hours, we ingest the changes. Also, we are working with great expectations. We started even before open metadata, and then we said, okay, amazing. They use it, we use it. We will just ingest our test. It's real time as well. User can see the test falling immediately. He can see when it started, how many duplication you have, and just fix it. And the cherry on the top is our data warehouse table. It's a documented table. We started the open metadata project from that. We wanted a place to document them, and I will speak about them more further, don't worry. So a bit about our evolution of how we use open metadata. First, we started with the UI. Yeah, I told you, we wanted a place that people will document their table. That's it. Lineage was cool. Quality was cool. We added more and more. And then when we have a full stack, we said, guys, you can use it for search, for data discovery, for data observability. You want to search for a table to see its status, to see how it was created, which quality test it failed. Use open metadata, and it worked. It was great system. But then we said, well, if it's just that good and fast, why don't we connect other BI tools that we create at Wix to open metadata. For example, if another BI tool needs like to access the table to see which schemas in some catalog, let's ask open metadata by APIs and not like querying a Trino or databases, which will take much more time. And today we're in the era of AI agents, right? Probably all of you are covered with all the AI agents, and they need relevant data in order to answer questions. User questions, even like another AI agent questions, and all the metadata for all our data assets is already in open metadata. Just for example, as I told you, we have a BA tool, okay? It's select the table. We use Open Metadata Proxy API. We just wrap it and get the data immediately by APIs. It's just faster than anything else. And AI agents, we are creating so many MCPs that are based on Open Metadata. See all of this, and we create more every day. And why we need so many? Because every AI agent needs a bit specific more info that he needs. For example, this agent needs a table description, column description, and queries. It doesn't need like quality status. It doesn't important for him. So of course, we don't want to do so many that are duplication, but yes, we are trying to narrow it down for the AI agent because it's very important for him to get the most accurate data for his needs. So let's go through our use case, which is data warehouse tables. It's a very interesting use case that started it all, and I wanted to share it with you. What is data warehouse table at Wix? Probably all of you have it, right? But each company do it a bit differently. So for us, it's the main tables, okay? The most used tables in the organization. It can be white tables, it can be action tables. It's used by various data teams. And we want to show the teams that you can be sure to use another team table. How? It is governed, it is have quality test on a daily basis and it's perfect to use. Let me give you some examples. So from governance, we have table naming conventions, meaning if the table is dimension table, it will end with _dim always, or you're not certified. If you're Boolean column, you will have is or has underscore in the start of the name. Documentation is perfect. You can't put for like unit ID, description unit ID. No, you need to describe what is this unit. So we control of all of it. Also, we have quality test on a daily basis. We check there are no primary keys duplications, missing these data, and it's according to the table type. So if you want to be a data warehouse table, which is tier 1 or tier 2 in open metadata, you need to be certified by all these rules. And if you are like certified and then failed, you will lose your tag. And all our systems will give prioritize to these tier 1 and tier 2 tables. Sometimes they take just them. So if you want your data to be as good to other people to use, which is kind of your goal, you must comply to these rules. And let's just take an examples. We have a data warehouse table here. We have a tier 1 label. We have an owner, must. We have a domain. We have data product, table description, column description, tags like table type, etc. And we have last update date, meaning like the table is always fresh. If you're not fresh, you are removed as well. So many rules, and all of them fit here. And what has changed recently? Okay, I show you that. It's amazing. But the last months changed something. So we enforce descriptions, right? I told you, you don't have proper description, you are removed. But we told people like, well, it's nice to have queries, right? If you will put queries, other people will know how to query your table the best. Glossary will enrich your metadata, like people will understand better what is this column about. Use some classifications, and we have a lot of data teams, and all of them, like some did project about queries, some did project about glossaries, but we didn't enforce it because we didn't know how users will use it like very much, right? Like how many users will go to the queries and check like how to do it. It's too much effort for them. So it was nice to have feature. That's it. But then everything has changed. So here is an example of an AI agent that users just create. It was not even like the core product, just other users that have OMD MCPs and start playing with it. And they said, okay, AI agent is smart. Let's give him access to open metadata and answer questions. So for example, if I'm asking how many selling stores are in the US, it can calculate, it can go to open metadata, find the right table, perform the query, and answer. And it all took 1 minute, and I didn't do anything. Didn't know to go inside UI and search. He did it for me. But he is different than me, right? I have my knowledge, like I'm stores analyst, I know a lot. He doesn't know anything. So then we understand what this AI agent needs. So first, you have some free text questions, right? And you need to break it down to some parameters. If the question is about stores, probably the domain is stores and the owner is stores data, right? Then you get, I don't know, 50 tables. So he needs to find the relevant table, right? And he will find it by the table name, by the table description. You have few ways to do it. And then he needs to know how to use it. So just query the table. Does he need to apply specific filters to use specific columns? How we know how to perform the query? So this gave us like a numerous boost of using open metadata even better. So we have descriptions, right? But right now, like for users to read all of them, well, I don't know. But for AI to read all these like 100 columns, it's like that. So we should invest in good descriptions because it will answer like faster and more precise. And then we did it in two directions. Actually, we can use AI as well, right? Like in the backward. So we created AI agents ourselves. We have the table, but we also have the job that created it, right? We have the code. We have the lineage of which other table it used. We have sample data. We have the column names. We have all of this. We can create amazing descriptions for the users. They don't need even to touch it. Yeah, they can check it, but we can create for them the base in our structure very fast. Also, in the same time, if the user asks some question and the AI agent need to know how to answer because the column wasn't described well, they change it in open metadata. So other users can understand and like use it in a better way. Queries was a new thing, right? I told you it was nice to have. Now it's not nice to have. The most important thing for AI agent is to know how to query the tables. So it was super important. Users started to enter them. And then we said again, guys, we have the info, right? We have the table. We have a lot of queries and jobs and ad hoc run on the table. Let's take all of them, give it to AI agent. He will create the query and description properly. And then by OMD MCP, push it back to queries, right? The query section for each table. And then while asking questions, the agent can go to open metadata and just get all the sample queries. Even if it's 20, it can read it like that. Same for users. So if AI agent answer great for users and the users say, yeah, that query is amazing, let's push it back to open metadata with a good example of how AI can query this table for a specific question. Same for glossaries, same for anything else. Right now, we have the most urge to do it properly. Okay, so are we there? As I explained, we're amazing, right? We can answer any question. It's super easy. Not that yet. So here is another tool who utilized open metadata. This is our query agent engine. Users actually add here queries and run them. And it has like, it was released in the last few months, an AI agent. And remember the start when I show you I have like 130,000 lineage connections? I didn't calculate it myself, though I can. I know the table, yeah? But why? I have AI agent to do it for me. So I asked him how many lineage connections I have between table, job, and a dashboard. And he called open metadata and searched tables with filters and said, I cannot answer, I don't know. And then I just press it and see what he did. What he did, he searched table with filters of owners data asset, data platform, there are not existing owners. There are no such owners. He just invented it. So of course, I should teach him query owners that exist, or better, query table by name, right? If you would ask for lineage, he will find the table like that. So the prompting need to be better. And then I lost my patience. I said, like, just use the table. I know the table, do it for me. And he called get table info with the actual table and get the column description, table description. He knew exactly how to do the query. And in 1 second, I got this lineage connection. I got the full number. I got the breakdown. So like that, it was super easy. I just needed to do something in the way, in between. So let's talk about the conclusions here. Readiness. We're ready, okay? Yes, we have the data correctness in like, 70, 80% of the way for tables and queries and descriptions, but we're good. We can work already, even if it's not like perfect. I can even tell you that I asked this AI agent, like, can you differentiate between good description and bad description? Because I always tell user, guys, this English is not that perfect, right? I can't understand what you're saying, but the AI agent can. He told me, yeah, if it's written like badly, it's fine for me. I can read it anyway. If nothing is written, yeah, it's a blocker. But if it's not perfect, so yeah, I can use it. So we were ready. What is missing is prompting, like probably all of you is doing right now. We need to teach the AI our terms, right? Like how we manage domains, what do we do for glossaries, how you should do the flow, for example, search for tier 1 and tier 2 tables, then all the rest, right? This is the best tables. So we should improve in that field. And the outcome will be that we will make much faster decisions because we make decisions based on data. And once we will have the data faster and don't need to write all the queries and look for tables and the agent will do it for us, we will change the product much faster and improve it much faster. And this is kind of the goal as a data org for all Wix organization. I guess that's it. Thank you very much. Feel free to contact me for LinkedIn, in LinkedIn for any questions. Of course, I have like big developer team behind me, so we can help in any question if you would like to share. Thank you.
Thanks, Sapir, and thanks especially for going back to 2022. Getting data ready for people and BI tools back then, alone was challenging enough. But now, if you're trying to get data ready for AI, like you are and like Wix is, we've seen the only way to get data ready for AI is to use AI to make that data ready. So we had a question here. And the way that you're doing so is through that MCP server, being able to generate descriptions, queries, and glossaries. We had a question, are you creating that MCP server that you're using with OpenMetadata?
So we use OpenMetadata MCP to ingest data inside, but to create it, to create a description, we have like a cursor
Mhm.
agent to take all the information. Lineage is actually taken from our main lineage service code from that, but like descriptions are getting from like if there are descriptions already, we take it from OpenMetadata MCP. So it depends on what.
Mhm. Excellent. And thanks for sharing. And yeah, we had some questions come in. Feel free to ask any
Yeah, I
follow-ups
will
that you may
answer.
may
Mhm.
have. Yeah. And we can also cover those again at the end of our meetup. Uh, we have some portion allotted for Q&A as well. But we're going to jump into the next section of our meetup today, where we have Pere, who will be talking about some new developments in open metadata that should be coming very soon. So, Pere, looking forward to that.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Let me steal the screen. And well, hey, everybody, and Happy New Year. I guess that it's still that time. And today I wanted to show you something that we've been working on that I'm actually really excited about, which is a simplified deployment for open metadata. Because then most of you who are already using open metadata in Kubernetes, and now you'll just be able to do so without requiring an extra scheduler. Let's start with a quick recap, right? Because in the end, both data and the data landscape keep growing. And the fundamental challenge is that all of these critical pieces of knowledge and the context are constantly scattered across different tools, across different silos. And our users, wherever they are in the organization, they have to crawl and navigate and figure out where that information is. So the work that we have pioneered with Open Metadata over the past few years has actually been focused on addressing this exact problem. How do we make sense of all of these pieces of scattered information? And we have accomplished that by defining and implementing this open source metadata standard that basically allows us to effectively translate every unit, every piece of information that's there residing in your data platform and putting that into open metadata. And this result is a unified metadata graph that covers your entire stack end to end. And this empowers users with this seamless data discovery, observability, and governance. And all of that has become the foundation of open metadata, right? This API first, this schema first implementation of this standard that are creating this highly extensible architecture, allowing every organization to continuously integrate all of these new sources and services and fully connect their entire data ecosystem. The point is that open metadata itself does not work in isolation, right? It has to connect to all of these different services. It has to connect to your databases, to your dashboards, to your pipeline systems, and extract the metadata from them, right? We have all of these different metadata agents that can pick up the schemas, that can make sense of the transformations and the evolutions of your data in the flow via lineage, that can also figure out which tables are being or not being used. We can also use our native profiling system and that will be able to figure out stats and distributions, patterns in your data that then you can also validate with our native data quality system. And you can also go beyond that and use our auto classification agent to help you discover and tag PII data, right? But the point is that all of these processes, all of these agents, they require some scheduling. They need to run some place that helps you make sure that all of these items are regularly extracting all of these pieces of information and updating whatever it is that you have in open metadata. So basically, we need a scheduler here that basically powers this ingestion framework to run reliably. And our goal since the beginning, since the inception of open metadata, has been to make the architecture as simple and as reliable as possible, making sure that we are just kind of building the platform from the ground up in open source to let as many people as possible adopt it regardless of their engineering context of their organization. And this brings us to our initial approach, which is that, okay, Airflow is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Every data organization of any size is either using it or has used it. It's battle tested. Every data engineer knows it. And in most deployments, it's already there. So when we started building open metadata, using Airflow as our pipeline orchestrator made total sense. And it worked great for many organizations, and it continues to be a great option for the community. But we kept hearing that, okay, we want to go into Kubernetes, or we already have open metadata in Kubernetes, but we don't really want to support another scheduler. And that's a fair point, right? Because if you're already using Kubernetes, you already have open metadata there. Adding Airflow just for open metadata means that you need to manage more infrastructure and more operations. So we said, okay, how can we make the platform simpler to host and to run for absolutely everyone? And this is what we've built. If you're running on Kubernetes, then now you really don't need any other system. Our Helm charts, there we go. Our Helm charts will deploy absolutely everything together. The server and a Kubernetes controller that will manage and will make sense of all of your ingestion pipelines, profiler, test cases, absolutely everything directly as Kubernetes jobs or Kubernetes cron jobs. And that's it. Just let Kubernetes do what Kubernetes does and helping you deploy these on any cloud anywhere that you can actually have a Kubernetes cluster. So let's take a look at how this actually plays out. I have here my Helm chart values, and I'm going to be reusing an existing database and an Elasticsearch. And what I'm doing is, okay, let me just install the OpenMetadata Helm charts. And just with this single command, I'm getting out my server and this controller. So now I can go back into my OpenMetadata deployment. And as you can see here, I have a Redshift service. I kept it very, very lean. And if I go ahead and say I want to run my ingestions, I'm going to continue to do so transparently, right? We are really not changing any part of the experience for the end user. We are just allowing the underlying pieces to be simpler to manage, simpler to deploy, simpler to host. So in this case, I don't want to wait until my next schedule. I'm just going to run this ingestion here and going back. I'm just going to be listening to the pods. And as you can see now, this new fresh job started to automatically spin up in Kubernetes. No other communication needed. The Open Metadata server can directly talk to Kubernetes, and then we have this small operator here that helps us add some quality of life features. And this quality of life features is that, okay, this is working perfectly. Right now, I triggered this job. My job is running. I can come, I can check the logs. I can interact with this ingestion the same way that I would do with any other piece of the ingestion framework that I have. But what happens, for example, if right now I have this other Redshift service that I expressively put the name bad here because I know that this job is going to fail. And how can we help our users more, our open metadata operators even more, to help them basically figure out and pick up why this job has failed? Because Kubernetes is very simple to manage if you know what you need to manage. But what happens if we start having pods that are not being allocated, pods that end up with out of memory that are exploding because the underlying node is exploding or whatnot? In this case, we also wanted to make sure that this experience was as simple as possible. So right now, whenever we have these pods that are failing, we can also see some pod diagnostics. I can click here onto my logs and I see that, okay, my Kubernetes job failed, and we have added a callback strategy the same way that we would have the callbacks in Airflow that helps us pull the thread and understand what might have been going on. I can understand which is the pod that ran this job, this status, the different events that were going on, and even a small extract of the logs of the job itself if for whatever reason the job was not able to push the logs or, to open metadata, or we can even not access that pod because has already been evicted. We can actually come here and check all of this information directly. So as you can see, there we go. So you can see just one simple Helm install. I'm able to continue to interact with all of these pieces with a simpler deployment and with this added benefit of helping out even more to figure out what it is actually going on with those jobs that are not behaving as they should. And just to finish this out, here in the end, we are making open metadata in the only platform out there that does it absolutely all. With open metadata, you can actually discover your data, make sense of everything that you have. You can govern the ownerships, the policies, the language of the organization, the metrics, all of these pieces that we were just hearing about and how important they are now that we are jumping and diving deep a bit more into the AI era. We have our own native observability platform with profiling, data quality, test lineage, alerts. We have an enterprise-ready MCP server that's built in there in the Open Metadata server. You don't need another piece. We're already hosting that with its built-in RBAC support, which means that whoever is interacting with that MCP server, the AI is only going to have the same permissions that the end users. And with this new change that we are going to be pulling out in the 1.12 release. The deployment is going to be even simpler, and you will be able to run OpenMetadata on any cloud, any Kubernetes cluster with just one Helm install. And that's it. I'm going to pass the word to Harsha. So thank you all.
Thanks, Pere. Hope everyone can see the slides.
Yes. Yes, now we can.
All right, thanks. I want to kind of recap what we have kind of shipped in 2025 and what's coming in February and what's coming beyond in the Q1 itself. So while planning for this presentation, I was like saying to Nick, give more time to Sapir and Pere. I don't need more than 10 minutes. Then I'm putting together the slides. The amount of stuff that we shipped, I think we probably need a couple more sessions, long sessions to kind of go over everything, which is great. We had really busy 2025, kind of redefined what a data governance, quality, observability, and discovery looks like in the modern world. And we are excited for 26, how we want to shape the product that's pretty much, if you think of, hey, I want to do this in the governance, or I want to do this in discovery, or I want to enable my AI agents, like as Sapir showing just now, anything you can think of, it's probably already shipped in OpenMetadata. So just want to highlight, I don't want to kind of read through everything, and even this is a filtered list of things that we have done. So I want to fit that into one slide. So the biggest things that we want to call out from a governance, right? So if you're coming into OpenMetadata Collate, hey, I have millions of data assets, or I have thousands or millions of data columns that I need to get into same definitions, same glossary terms, tags. How do I actually keep up with the scale of that, right? It's not humanly possible. So that's one of the reasons we shipped automations. So you can actually set and put certain condition. Think of IFTT, but IFTTT for your metadata. Then we started building the data contracts sometime in the Q2 of 2025. We shipped the APIs and the schema. Then we built the entire UI within the open metadata. So data contracts within the open source open metadata, you can build right from the UI, not just building the contracts. Most of the kind of products fall or stop there. They either give you a specification, they give you a UI at most. I haven't seen anyone doing that yet. But essentially, that's a data contract. But for us, what is a data contract if you're not enforcing the rules? There are some questions coming in while Sapir is doing the talk. Is, hey, how do you enforce certain rules, right? What is a test case rules? What is a data contract rules? All of those can be enforced. The data contract that we ship is actually enforceable. There's a check that runs, and it tells you, it gives you an alert if something is failing. There is huge amount of improvements went into glossaries and domains from UI UX standpoint. There is now a bit of adding assets in the bulk to the glossaries and domains. And then there is automated approval workflows where you can say that, hey, if any changes that is happening to our assets, now this is where the important things comes into light. Like I have a tier 1 assets. I want that to be reviewed by my team before anyone can make changes. Among hundreds of thousands of assets, I want to kind of focus on tier 1 assets. You can create an approval workflow for across the data assets ecosystem, saying that any change that happens to these assets, it should go to approval workflow. Then only those changes becomes live. And metrics catalog, we introduced back in Jan of 25. From there, we continue to kind of iterate and improve. This is where you can centralize all of your metrics. And the metrics gives you an expression and gets all of your teams into standard definitions. So often in the companies, we kind of debate about what is a ARR means, what is a customer lifetime value means, what is a churn rate means. If you ask different teams, they have different interpretation of that. So that's what we kind of focus on, getting those standards and putting into one metrics catalog. The benefit of that is now you can use your chatbots, your MCP servers. Anyone asking a customer ARR, you can use OpenMetadata MCP server to power and say that, hey, only use these standard metrics that we defined here. And more on this is we are pushing, if you have a DBT metrics, we're pulling that into Collate, OpenMetadata. If you have Snowflake, if you have any other platform that you're defining metrics, we can pull the metrics from there and put it into OpenMetadata metrics catalog. What I want to kind of focus on from governance point of view, what we are building in February, we already did a release candidate, so please take a look and give us any feedback. We are going through the testing phase right now. One of the interesting things that we are doing as part of 1.12 is the column manager. You may have columns. Columns, again, defined kind of loosely here, which is a table can have a column, topic can have a field. You may have S3 bucket or Azure data file system with different JSON payloads or Avro payloads. Each may have a column that belongs, have the same definition. Think of for example, address_ID. That is a column that might exist in table, topic, containers, your file systems or whatnot. You want to set the same definitions, same terms, same glossaries. That's what column manager will do. It will aggregate all of these columns in one place and allows you to set in a bulk. And it's great to hear from the community, hey, data contracts is amazing, but my organization wants to kind of look through open data contracts specifications. Again, we try to educate as much as possible. The data contract that we ship in OpenMetadata has a lot more capabilities, covers a lot more umbrella items than what ODCS 3.1 support. But the customers who are the community wants to adapt ODCS, that's great. You can now import ODCS 3.1 into OpenMetadata. It gets if there is a contract already, it matches the contract with ODCS. And you may have existing contracts defined in OpenMetadata. You can export them as ODCS as well. And it's a full compatibility. It's coming in 1.12. Again, please give us any further inputs here. Great to see kind of community engaging in the data contracts here. Finally, on the data governance, immediate roadmap is data product input output ports. Again, a lot of community feedback here as well. What others are doing in terms of specification, we adapted into OpenMetadata here as well. So now, not only you can actually go to the data product, what are the assets that belongs to a data product that makes the data product functional, but what exactly the asset that is influenced in this particular data product, what is the output that this data product is producing it. Again, we're going to go into more kind of show and tell in our February once the release is finalized. But these are the exciting features that's coming from governance, what we shipped at a high level in 2025. And I want to kind of introduce Collate AI. I know it's a large umbrella. From an OpenMetadata point of view, we shipped MCP server. Again, there is a lot of adoption input that came in. How do we better fine-tune the responses that we are giving from MCP? More tooling to be added from the MCP server. And obviously, the more MCP protocol itself is evolving. If you're using older versions of OpenMetadata with MCP enabled and using latest cursor, there is a protocol change that happened. So we immediately kind of improved that in 1.11.6. We added the latest protocol compatibility, which is great. It does now both backward compatible older versions as well as the newer versions. From a Collate standpoint, we have shipped a lot of AI features coming into 2025. If you haven't checked out our Ask Collate, feel free to go and look at one of our videos. And it gives you ChatGPT kind of interface to all of your data. And not only that, enables agents to be built. We shipped auto-tiering of data assets, auto-suggesting of DS test, and natural language search, among all the things. So, and we didn't stop there. Chatting with metadata is great. Enabling your agents with metadata is great. But we built SQL Studio right on top of Collate and OpenMetadata, where the natural language questions that are coming to Ask Collate can directly interact with the data and provide you visualization and everything. And what we are shipping in this quarter in February is the MCP improvements I just talked about. Ask Collate Slack is shipped so that you can do all the nice things, cool things from Ask Collate right in your Slack. And we are with the same input, we are doing it in MS Teams as well. What I'm specifically excited about is auto classifications. Auto classifications of OpenMetadata has always been great based on the ML models that we use. Now we are allowing our users to create their own rules. So you can go to a tag and set recognizers of, hey, I want to apply this pattern, or I want to apply this context to a tag, and it will auto classification will pick up that definition and run it during its runtime and suggest or apply those tags automatically. So a lot of improvements coming into auto classification itself. From a data discovery insights, one of the major change that we have done, obviously the new UI UX went into 1.7 sometime in February of 25. And on the same lines, we built a persona-based customization. We recognize that OpenMetadata is a horizontal platform that can do many things, but an organization has different personas, right? Someone interested in data governance, someone interested in data engineering, data quality, observability, someone just want to find from an analytics point of view what data set I should be using. So the platform itself should fine tune to those users' responsibilities, those users' wants. So we built end-to-end persona customization. You can kind of edit everything from navigation to landing page from each asset. What is the tab called? What is the widgets that you want to show? Pretty much across the board that we have released in open source as well. Lineage, a lot of feedback came in. It's great to hear again when a lot of our customers and the community using at a scale, the challenges are different. So we built a lineage that can scale to 10,000 plus nodes. And lineage is hierarchical. That means you can visualize the lineage at the platform level. That is, which platform is reading to which platform. Like MySQL, data is going through Fivetran and going all the way to your Kafka topics, or your S3 buckets, or your Redshifts or whatnot. And then we build domain level lineage, data products lineage. Image upload and attachments, bulk edit support in the UI across the board. You can edit directly at a table level, at a schema level, at a database level. Again, making the managing of metadata much more simpler. A lot of improvement to browser extension in open source as well as in Collate. So what you're bringing into Q1 in February is the column level custom properties. Now, custom properties can be extendable to column level. Improved explore navigation, you will see a lot more easy to, I want to browse, I want to get all the details about a table, dashboard, chart, whatnot. You don't need to leave the explore page anymore. You can get all of the details right there. If you want to edit any of the assets, if you have permissions right in the explore, you can do so. And lineage improvements, lineage is a continuous, it's never the solved problem. Everyone has certain opinion, certain great ideas that we want to kind of bring in. What we have done is to improve the UI further is, if I'm looking at a column level, I want to see how the relation from one column to other columns are going through end to end. So that highlight comes through really nicely. Obviously, we did impact analysis. There are further improvements to impact analysis in here. Finally, open lineage compatible APIs, right? What we have shipped so far is you have a OpenMetadata open lineage compatible connector that you can deploy with Spark. It will emit in the language that we understand, in the APIs that we understand. Now we just provide an open lineage API endpoint. So if you have events shipped into Kafka, you can just point that to this new API endpoint. Automatically, it will bring in all the open lineage events and connect those lineage events right in OpenMetadata. Again, if you've seen the kind of the philosophy that we have kind of going with is, if you have a standard that you are kind of really loud and kind of want to get into OpenMetadata, you don't need to change anything. We are trying to make this as simple as possible for companies and organizations to adapt. So everything is coming into open source. You don't need to change, point to the OpenMetadata API endpoints. All of these things will be automatically done for you. Now into the observability. From an observability standpoint, data quality standpoint, OpenMetadata has reached a next level heights, beyond what any other competition are in commercially available. So we have a data observability dashboard, understanding how the data quality is looking for data assets across the board, right? Alert debuggability. If you go to the alerts and you see, hey, I'm not getting certain alerts or something like that, you see what is the offset that we are reading into the change events, the alert events. And it also shows all the events that are successfully delivered, and also, that are alerts that are failed to deliver. So exact payload. So if you're configure email alerts, if you configure Slack or MS Teams or Webhook, if you're seeing something is not working out right, you can go to the alert page and see all the details of what's going on. And Spark-based profiler, you may have petabytes of data. How do you scale the profiler? So instead of just building a SQL-based, we also build a Spark-based profiler that can run across huge amounts of data on your data warehouse. Alert templates, the default ones that we send out, hey, here is a test case, here is a failed reason and whatnot. Now we improve the alert templates. You can customize essentially the styling of it, on the content of it, what you want to send as an alert to your teams. Lineage-based alert propagation. So if you have a table at the root level that is failing, you want to notify all the downstream users. Could be other tables, could be other dashboards deriving from that. And right now you set the alert and you say that anyone downstream also should get the alert. They'll get that too. And we talked about cardinality support in 1.11. If you haven't, please check out. It's an amazing feature available in open source OpenMetadata itself. Spark Profiler UI. Initially, we shipped Spark-based Profiler as a way for you to kind of run a job. Now you can actually configure the Profiler UI, Spark Profiler right from the UI. We also improved bulk APIs for I think this feature needs to get into ingestion, but came into data quality. The other important feature that we shipped in 1.11 is the data quality as code. So far, when you're running a profiler, you're trying to run a test, it's after the fact, right? The data has already made it into table, and you're now detecting the errors of what's going on. How we can prevent the data being landed before even being used, and detecting the issues after the fact. So data quality as a code, now you can define the test in OpenMetadata and use the data quality as code and embed that into your ETL tools, could be any of those ETL tools, and operate on the data frame itself, saying that, hey, column should follow this pattern. Now you can check on the data frame if it's actually following that pattern, and then decide to either drop the data right to another table or ingest the data, but with the data being, hey, this data is not good. I'm going to flag this as a test case failure. Gives you a full control of, hey, I want to prevent the data quality issues ever happen versus I want to detect the data quality happen, right? And one of the important things about data quality or observability is pipeline observability, right? So far, we are talking about data quality in the context of data itself. The pipelines are the ones that are moving the data, right? Are they running on time? If they're not running on the time, that means your data is not fresh. Are they running into any errors? That means your data itself is dropped. So we provide an end-to-end dashboard of what is the pipeline looks like, when they ran, how long it took. Again, how long it took is also important because you are meeting certain SLAs. And if they fail, why they failed, and when is their next scheduled run. And you can kind of detect all of these things through the pipeline observability. Now, all of this data, when I'm talking about, is available as a knowledge graph to your AI agents through your MCP and everything else, so that someone can ask these questions and build the bots on top of the data that we're shipping. And in Feb, we are shipping test library, which is, so far, when you look at OpenMetadata, I think we have roughly 50 templates of test cases that comes out of the box. You can look at like table row counts should be between these two. Column value is not null. Column must follow this kind of regular expression. These are all defined, which is great. And we also have custom SQL query where you can add your own custom queries that we may not cover, right? These are all business use cases that you can actually build. With the test library, you can templatize these SQLs and say that, hey, for calculating certain things, here is the right way to do in our company. And every of your user can reuse that template and standardize your test cases that way, rather than 10 people writing 10 different custom SQLs or 10 different test cases. We'll go in deep in February Meetup, this really amazing feature that we are adding in 1.12. Test case import export, how do you do bulk import export so that you can scale? If you have 10,000 columns, how can you manage these rules across the board easily? There is a lot of improvements that went into data dev. And finally, time zone aware freshness test, like how do you kind of localize the time zone to the operator that they are working on. Finally, on the platform side, I'll just go quickly. So we added the Java 21 Draft Wizard. Just a step back from a platform, our goal is always to give you the latest platform with zero vulnerabilities. So we make sure whenever a release happens, there is a zero vulnerabilities, all the dependencies that we do. So every time we are making a big change here, like Java 21 or Draft Wizard 4.x, the goal is to make sure that every organization who's depending on this service, the images that you're using has zero vulnerabilities. And that's been the goal. And that's one of the reasons we went and upgraded Java 21 and Draft Wizard. We added Redis as a cache support. There are a lot of performance improvements maintained from a search index, bulk retrieval for paginations, and everything else. And we also built a Terraform module for OSS users to kind of deploy easily in the cloud platform of their choice. There is search RBAC. So if you're going and looking at, hey, I'm building an access control policies, but it's not applied in Explore, there's options in setting search. You can enable RBAC there. It depends on the organization philosophy, right? Some organization feels like that data should be discoverable. Some organization, hey, we have certain domains, we want to restrict that, even looking at the data. So all of that customization and self-tuning is available right now. And most importantly, search relevancy tuning. By default, we try to make as good of a matching algorithm that we can, but we understand that each organization is different. Someone might say that, hey, PI sensitive data should be ranked higher, or certain tags should be ranked higher. You can go into search relevancy tuning in settings and kind of customize every aspect of your ranking algorithm. What fields we match, what fields you should match. Oh, I have custom properties. I want to match custom properties by default. I don't want people to come and select the filters. You can do pretty much everything across the board. We introduced RDF and ontology support. I don't go too much details into this one. We have a big announcements coming in the future. We're going to talk about that. We also released SDK 2.0. There's a huge documentation update that's coming in next few weeks. We're going to talk in February at length on that. Is to give you really a fluent API to make it really, really easy. We see a lot of our community users using the APIs, which is great, which is where we want to be. And with that, we actually added SDK 2.0 to make it really, really simple to build not just applications, kind of use APIs easily. E-tag support, again, for concurrency. If you have multiple users, multiple agents modifying the same object at the same field, how do we maintain the sanctity of that metadata changes? So that's where we added E-tag for version control of that. Coming into February, we are shipping Drop Wizard 5x and Jetty 12.1. Again, in the name of, hey, we want to be in the latest and greatest release with the zero vulnerabilities, again, at the time of release. So this is, again, another big change that we're shipping. Distributed search indexing. And in general, we recommend, depending on obviously your scalability requirements and everything else, you should be running multiple OpenMetadata servers to scale up. So for search indexing, when you trigger a job, it's running using the one server's resources. Now we are scaling. Now, not only we are scaling the job, but also distributing the work it needs to do in terms of indexing. So it does really efficiently, and in terms of performance, it's really great. Audit logs right within the UI. So audit logs are already available in the server logs. There is an audit log that drops in the logs for your own changes. What we are doing, again, in the interest of how do you monitor from a human change, from a bot change, from an AI agent change? All of these audit logs, anything that is changing, users login, loggers, and everything else recorded, admin-only feature. You can download these logs from the UI for your offline analysis or not. Most importantly, what it does is, hey, how do I recognize some AI agents using the metadata, how they are making the changes to the metadata itself? So you can actually filter by user, filter by the bot, filter by the AI agents that you have. And we just talked about KIT's native scheduler. OpenMetadata from very beginning, we said that, hey, the deployment has to be as simple as possible. We are coming from distributed systems. We built and scaled for Uber and big companies before, but our philosophy is it needs to be simple, it needs to be scalable to big organizations. So we essentially shipped 4 components. One is the OpenMetadata server, your database, MySQL or Postgres, your search engine for OpenSearch or Elastic. Then finally, we decided to use Airflow because that was ubiquitous across the board. And as Pere was saying, how do we simplify even further? If you're using Kubernetes, all you need is Kubernetes cluster right now with a Postgres, MySQL from your favorite cloud provider, same with another search engine. So even simpler in 2026 to deploy OpenMetadata and run it at a scale. Then finally, integration side, we'll ship 25 new connectors, including the reverse metadata, cross-service lineage, a lot of improvements in terms of crossing the lineage itself. I think any questions that are coming and the support that we are addressing holistically and kind of shipping this, improvements as soon as possible. That's one of the reasons we do weekly releases, saying that, hey, community is giving us feedback, we need to respond as soon as possible. Hope you are seeing the support velocity that we do, the care that we show in the community. And ingestion is one of the core functionalities. Obviously, you want to get the metadata, and not only getting the metadata into OpenMetadata Collate, but how do you ship the metadata back into services itself, so that OpenMetadata is the truly centralized metadata platform that you're using. We are shipping 4 new connectors. Some of the exciting things is StarRocks being asked by many of the community members, so we're shipping that. We're also shipping SFTP, which is, we introduced the drive as a service in sometime in August of last year. We shipped the Google Drive. Now the metadata is not about structured data, but also the unstructured data that is logged in your drives. Could be a Google Drive, could be a SharePoint, could be an SFTP. All of the data can come into OpenMetadata itself. I think that covers it. Again, amazing kind of velocity that we shipped the product. One of the things that I think we if I remember roughly, have released close to that, if not more. We are doing a major release every 2 months, and there is a minor release every Wednesday that is going, and with improvements, bug fixes, anything that community is giving feedback on. I'm sure a lot of these features that we talked about, you probably adapted. Oh, I requested this at some point. I needed this at some point. So that's the feedback that we are getting, and it's really great to see the community and the Open Metadata developers come working together and making a huge success for metadata in the landscape. So thanks, everyone. Just met
Thank
the
you,
time
Harsha.
onboard.
Yes, thank you, Harsha. Spectacular to see all of that development. And again, all of this development is being built in collaboration with our community and being built out in the open. So if there's something that you saw there that you want to keep track on as we release these new features, if there's something that you want to request that you didn't see in that great overview of what's happened last year and what we're looking to build in 2026, our GitHub repo is a great place to keep track of and monitor all that information, get support on some of the feature requests that you would like to see, and build with our community. We also had a number of questions come in during our meetup today about implementation questions and things like that. You can get support on our Slack as well. So we're closing in on 12,000 members there, which is incredible, and would really love to welcome you all there. So we mentioned some of the things that you may see in our next Open Metadata meetup. That'll be coming soon. Just next month we'll be meeting again. But until then, hope you have a great time with Open Metadata, and we can get your hands on some of these new features that we were discussing as soon as possible. Before we go, one last shout out. I wanted to thank Sapir for coming on and all of the great work that she's done, especially with the Wix team, as she mentioned. A lot of building with a team of developers, a lot of whom we couldn't have on the call today. So thank you for everyone at the Wix team for your support and for your enthusiasm for Open Metadata. And thanks for sharing, Sapir. But hope to see you all soon, either here on Slack, in our GitHub repo, a lot of places that you can find us, and we'll keep building together. Thank you all.